This video demonstrates the installation process of the Solis 3-phase high-voltage hybrid energy storage inverter. Attention! Electrical equipment must be operated only by qualified electrical technicians. Before installation, read the product manual and verify all components are included. The inverter is heavy, around 195.77 pounds. It is crucial to use proper lifting techniques. Two people are always required to lift and move the inverter. Please be sure to install the inverter in a safe, well-ventilated location with good heat dissipation. The inverter should never be installed in direct sunlight. When the inverter is operating, it generates high heat and high voltages internally. It is recommended to install the inverter where it is not easily accessible to the public. Mounting bracket installation. The inverter supports wall, battery cabinet, and battery rack back hanging installation. In this video, the inverter is being wall mounted. Be sure the mounting structure can bear the weight of the inverter and all other system equipment. Ensure there is adequate clearance around the installation area. Hang the mounting bracket on the wall after installing the expansion bolts. Then tighten the nuts down for all four corners of the bracket. Mounting the inverter. Use the provided black carrying handles, installing them on both sides of the inverter. Each handle can withstand a maximum force of 280 pounds. Two people together should lift the inverter slightly above the bracket. Align the hooks on the back of the inverter with the bracket channels, then lower the inverter until the hooks slide into place. Remove and store the two handles. Grounding conductor connection. Remove the wire box cover by removing the 6 screws using a Torx T20 screwdriver and the black protective cover by removing the 5T5 screws. Punch out the required knockout hole with a flathead screwdriver and hammer. After connecting conduit to the wire box, run all DC ground cables to the DC ground bar. Run all AC ground cables to the AC ground bar. Use an 8mm hex torque wrench screwdriver for the AC ground bar and a 5mm hex torque wrench screwdriver for the DC ground bar. Tighten the ground terminals to a torque of 6.5 to 8 Newton meters, or for 0.8 to 5.9 foot-pounds. PV side connection. DC conductors from a PV array exposed to sunlight will be energized with high voltage DC. Verify that the PV string VOC and ISC values will not exceed inverter limits. PV strings connecting to the same MPPT must have the same voltages. The 30 kilowatts models have 3 MPPTs each with 2 string inputs. The 40 kilowatts, 50 kilowatts, 60 kilowatts model has 4 MPPTs each with 2 string inputs. PV modules in the same MPPT must have the same specifications, tilt, and azimuth. This ensures maximum efficiency and safety for the system. Use a multimeter to confirm string voltages and polarities before connecting them to the inverter. Open the terminal by pulling up on the orange tab. Insert the PV cable, then pull the tab down until a click sound is heard. Perform a gentle pull test of the PV cable. Follow this process for all of the PV cables. AC side connection. Connect the grid L1, L2, and L3 conductors to the corresponding terminals. Tighten the terminals to between 6.5 and 8 Newton meters. ground the neutral conductor from the grid to the inverter neutral bus bar. The same torque requirement applies, 6.5 to 8 Newton meters. Follow this same method for all of the other neutral conductors. Run L1, L2, and L3 conductors for the backup distribution panel to the corresponding backup terminals. Insert the Torx T20 screwdriver into the orange terminal gate. Pull up on the screwdriver until you feel a click, indicating the terminal is now open. Insert the end of the conductor into the terminal. Pull down on the screwdriver until you feel another click, indicating the terminal is now closed. The smart port can be used for a generator, an AC-coupled PV system, or for a sheddable load. Follow the same method for operating the smart port terminals as for the backup terminals. Use an 8mm hexagonal torque wrench to grip the AC terminal. Battery connection. Disclaimer: battery compatibility varies by region. Check the battery compatibility list before purchasing and installing a battery. Installing a battery that is not on the list will void the inverter warranty and could damage the inverter. Be sure to read the battery installation manual as well as the full inverter installation manual. Insert the Torx T20 screwdriver into the orange terminal gate. Pull up on the screwdriver until you feel a click, indicating the terminal is now open. Run the battery cables into the inverter. The inverter has two sets of battery input terminals. Strip off ½ inch from the ends of the battery cables. Insert the battery positive and negative conductors into the corresponding terminals. Be sure that the polarity is correct, meaning do not reverse positive and negative. Pull down on the screwdriver until you feel another click, indicating the terminal is now closed. Give the cables a gentle tug test to ensure they secure. Communication connection. Install CT1, CT2, and CT3 around the conductors connecting the utility to the main distribution panel. Match the phase orientation with inverter voltage input. Connect the CT wires to inverter communication pins. White wires are positive, black wires are negative. Insert the stripped end of each wire into the corresponding pin. To remove the wire, use a small technician screwdriver to push in the square block above the pin, then pull out the wire. If you need to use Rogowski coils, you will have to install the Eastern meter that comes with the inverter. Please refer to both the meter wiring diagram in user manual and the meter installation manual. For battery communication, run the provided Ethernet cable between the battery BMS and the inverter BMS1 port. If a second battery is installed, be sure to test the Ethernet cable used to connect the second battery to the BMS to port beforehand with the Ethernet cable testing device. Connect the other end of the battery communication cable to the inverter CAN port within the BMS. For multiple inverters, connect a standard Ethernet cable to the parallel port of the first inverter. Connect the other end of the cable to the parallel B ports of the second inverter. Follow this method for up to 6 inverters in parallel. If you are installing a Solis data logger, remove the black protective cap by pressing both tabs in and then pulling down until the cap comes free. Then insert the logger into the USB port, ensuring both plastic tabs go through the 2 holes on the logger. The installation of the inverter is now complete. Next, we will commission the system. Pre-commissioning. Inspect all connections, ensuring they are secure and properly torqued. Check the conduit connections to the inverter. Give each conductor one last gentle tug test. Turn on both the battery and the AC grid power, then measure AC, DC voltages individually at the inverter terminals. Verify that the battery and PV string polarities are correct. Make sure the PV string voltage is normal and not at safety level. If the string voltages are at safety level, give the RST switch on the side of the inverter a clockwise twist. As long as the DC input voltage from the PV and O or batteries is higher than the required startup voltage of 180 volts, the inverter will operate normally. Install the black protective cover and then the inverter wire box cover by tightening down the 6 screws. Turn on the DC switch. If the DC input voltage is greater than the startup voltage of the inverter will start up and begin to generate. Commissioning. Download the Solis Cloud app and register a new organization account if you have not done so already. You can download the Solis Cloud app by scanning the QR code here. Turn on your phone Bluetooth switch and then open the Solis Cloud app. Tap More Tools, then Local Operation, and then Connect with Bluetooth. Select the Bluetooth signal from the inverter. It will appear as inverter serial number. If you are the installer, please select the account type as installer. If you are the plant owner, please select the account type as owner. Then set your own initial login password for control verification. The password setting will only occur during the first connection to the inverter. Write this password down on a piece of paper that you can store inside of the inverter wire box or on the inside of the wire box cover with a permanent marker. Quick settings. Set the date and time. To automatically set the date and time to match your phone, toggle on the Follow Phone Time switch. Select the battery model. Choose the battery model that is actually connected to the inverter. The lithium battery HV option is for the standard Solis CAN protocol. If no battery is currently connected, select No Battery to avoid alarms. During the quick setting wizard, only battery 1 needs to be configured. Battery 2 can be set later. Configure the meter and CT settings. If the CTs are connected directly to the inverter, select No Meter. If the provided Eastern meter has been installed, select Eastern 3P meter. Select Grid Side if the CTs are installed at the utility point of interconnection. Select the grid code. Tap Grid Code. Scroll down to USA, and then tap it. Choose UL for 80218 for IEEE 1547 to 2018 compliance. Set the work mode, which is the energy storage operating mode. Self-use mode is recommended. When this mode is selected, PV power is used first to supply loads, then to charge the batteries. Excess power will then be exported or curtailed if set up for zero export. For manual control over battery charging and discharging by time, toggle on the time of use switch and then configure the charge and discharge time windows. Ensure there is no overlap between the windows. It is recommended to enable Allow Grid Charging so that the inverter can float charge the battery using grid power, preventing deep discharge beyond the recovery point. Now that the quick settings have been configured, you will be at the inverter overview page. There are icons showing what the system is doing in real time. Please allow the system at least 5 minutes to begin operating after the settings have been configured.